Jerry. Don't worry, it's only an hour long, and most days it doesn't suck.
It never sucks. Oh, hi there, Al Dukes here, and we have a new camper this morning, Mr. Peter Schwartz. Good morning, Peter Schwartz.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for having me today.
Welcome aboard.
I hope Jerry's feeling better.
Jerry was not feeling good yesterday when he got here. He progressively got worse. Mm-hmm. Personally, I'm somebody who doesn't take a sick day, but Jerry felt like he needed a sick day, other than the two I took last week. But prior to that, Peter, I don't like to take sick days. But Jerry needed one. He was feeling terrible. Then people go, well, where's CeeLo? Last minute. Sorry, CeeLo's. I've got Peter Schwartz. Peter, you're very capable. Mm-hmm. You've been here a very long time.
Yes.
We'll do the warm-up program. So Eddie was very much like a Tom Brady under pressure there. There was something going on in our studios. We almost had to go to the other place. But Eddie looked like a mechanic. He was pulling plugs. He was redoing spark plugs. He was checking piston rings under the radio board.
Thanks to Martin Travers.
Thanks to Martin, the engineer, who walked him through it on the phone.
FaceTime.
It was perfect. As soon as I saw the purple light show up, I knew we were good, Eddie.
He is steady under pressure.
He is very good. Well, that's what experience gets you. You get good under pressure. Peter, before we begin, I do a lot of 80s baseball references here.
Yes, sir.
So just curious where you stand. If you had to pick an 80s baseball player, who's your favorite?
I would say Don Mattingly.
Don Mattingly. That's a classic 80s baseball player. And you're a Yankee fan?
I am a Yankee fan, yes.
So give me some other 80s players. Like when you think 1980s baseball, where does your mind go?
Well, I think you have to go... Tony Gwynn.
Oh, that's a good one.
I think Kirby Puckett.
Kirby Puckett, sure. He's passed.
He has passed. I have a lot of his baseball cards.
Yeah.
Big Kirby. There are a number of baseball players that didn't play for my team that I always loved to watch. He was one of them. Tony Gwynn, another who's also passed.
Right. Tony Gwynn's passed?
Tony Gwynn is passed.
What the hell's going on?
You didn't know Tony Gwynn was passed?
I don't recall that.
A few years back.
Yeah.
A few years
all right.
back.
Well, that's sad.
Another great hitter.
Yeah.
Which was great. He got a chance to play in a World Series against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium.
That's
which
true.
was pretty cool. I remember he was so awestruck by going to see Monument Park.
Is that right?
Right before Game 1.
All right, because there was no interleague play back then.
That's right. So it was a special deal.
Yeah.
Fernando Valenzuela.
Yes.
Remember the craziness when he came to Shea to pitch against the Mets? It was that
Fernando Mania.
Yeah, but
running wild.
He's considered, I think, a Dodger great, but he really only had a handful of good seasons. He had that one great rookie season, but I don't think he ever duplicated what he did that rookie season.
But there's certain people when they have just an incredible, and the whole thing around them, the aura around them, and he was one of those people, it makes it seem like they were there longer.
Yeah. Kirk Gibson, another one.
Oh, God, it's a great one. That's my favorite. And I'm a Met fan. I love 86 Mets. But that Kirk Gibson where he limps up and hits that home run, to me, is got to be top 2 baseball moments of all time.
It was phenomenal. I remember I was in college watching it on television. He walks up, and I remember saying to a friend of mine in school, this could be one of the great moments in baseball history we're about to see. And it turns out he hits the home run. And I don't know if you ever saw this, but he had a great sit-down with Dennis Eckersley. Eckersley was broadcasting for the Red Sox, and Gibson was in Boston, and they were sitting down at Fenway Park, and they had this conversation about that home run. They became actually really good friends. It's amazing how, one moment was so great for somebody, one moment was so horrible, and they were able to grow into being pretty good friends and be able to have a pretty good conversation about it.
I think it might have happened with Mookie and Bill Buckner also.
Yes, it did. I know Mookie has talked about that a lot.
And then Bill Buckner, who's also passed.
Yes.
Everyone's passing. Did that great thing on Curb Your Enthusiasm. I don't know if you saw that one where he kind of made fun of himself. I'm sure it takes some time. You're not making fun of yourself right after it happens because he was a great fielder. He just had that one ball went
It was
through.
a brutal time for him after because, he just was not welcomed. People in Boston had terrible things to say about him. I think he showed up at a game once. I think he got an ovation. I think
but many years
later, and then it was all over after that.
Yeah, good thing Bill Buckner didn't have Twitter back then.
Could you imagine?
You couldn't have gone on it.
Give me a sports moment other than that one.
Yeah,
that you wish Twitter was around for. That people would have just lost their minds.
You put me on the spot here. I definitely have to go to something in the 1980s.
Yeah, of course.
The Immaculate Reception.
Yeah, that would be one of them.
That'd be one of them, right?
From a New York perspective, Pine Tar game. You're talking about 80s
love Pine Tar game.
references.
What a villain Billy Martin was, but so perfect at that moment to pull out the Pine Tar game. That would be a great one.
Yeah, I wish I had gone to the completion of that. That would have been something pretty cool to see, because they sold tickets just to go back to watch.
Oh, they didn't tack that on to another game?
Well, no, they came back. It was an off day, and the Royals had to fly into New York just to complete that game.
Is that right?
And there was actually, they wanted to charge people a separate admission to come in. If you had a ticket for the original game, they were not going to let you come in with your ticket stub. And this kid went to court, and he filed some kind of lawsuit where they then allowed people who had their ticket stubs from the game to come in. It was a very, very small number of people anyway. But if you wanted to come watch the end of the game, they sold you a ticket.
And years later, Billy Martin and George Brett sat down and talked. That probably didn't happen, right?
I don't think so. I don't even think he sat down with Goose Gossage, who gave up the home run.
All right, Goose Gossage.
There's another one.
Man, I love the 80s. Can I go back there, Peter?
I'd love to, too.
Right?
That's like my favorite channel on Sirius is the 80s channel.
80s channel?
Yeah.
Yeah, just there's something about 80s sports, and I guess maybe people feel that way depending on when they were like in high school. I feel like your high school years, that's where the music you like comes from, that stays with you your whole life. Sports, everything, baseball, football. I didn't follow hockey or basketball.
Well, hockey was good for me in the 80s.
Islanders.
Because the Islanders had the 4 cups right after the USA hockey team won the Olympics.
Right.
That was pretty cool.
We were just living it up in the 80s. Peter, there were a couple of baseball games yesterday locally. Well, one, the Yankees lost on a walk-off. The Mets won on a walk-off.
Yes.
Which would you prefer to discuss first?
Let's talk about the Mets first. My wife and kids are Met fans, and they were happy about that yesterday.
Same here. By the way, Gary Cohen called that home run the second it was hit.
Mm-hmm.
I guess there was a no-doubter when Alonso... It was. But it would have been funny if it would have been one of those balls that was like, it's gone, it's out of here. That it just lands in the left.
Well, then John Sterling would have called it.
Right.
Remember when Scherzer got hurt the other night, he was kind of like holding his side.
I don't believe any injuries.
I don't think I've ever had that injury.
Well, we're two guys that don't get injured, Peter. We're not like these athletes.
No, I've gotten injured.
We're not like these athletes that get it. So that's it. So the Mets bring up a new pitcher. I think I saw a name of somebody they were bringing up. But now we got no DeGrom. We got no Max Scherzer. Good thing we got these other fellas, Bassett.
And McGill is hurt, too.
McGill's hurt, right. The heck's going on?
They might have to make a trade, bring in another starter.
Who? Who's out there? What's the names being bantied about? You get one of these teams that's in trouble, like the Red Sox.
How about Madison Bumgarner?
Yeah, get him here. He's not available, Peter.
No.
Come on. By the way, did you see Zach Wilson at the Met game?
I did.
I did see that it was confusing to Keith Hernandez.
Yes, he thought that it was a Mookie Wilson jersey.
Right, which maybe it was. So Zach Wilson was in a jersey that said Wilson.
Right.
And I think it had the number 1 on it.
Well, I couldn't tell. I saw a still shot on Twitter of him yesterday, and all you could see was the Wilson.
Right.
I couldn't see the number on the back.
Yeah, there was one picture I saw where it looked like the tip of the 1.
Okay.
So maybe he saw the Mookie Wilson jersey and thought, that's fun. It's the same last name as me. I'll get that one.
Right, right.
But this guy's showing up at all the front-running teams.
I tell you,
Zach Wilson.
I was a little disappointed, to be honest. I saw him on TV at the Rangers game the other night, and it was just last spring that he was with all the Jets at the Islanders playoff game.
Yes. So
it's kind of like you're hopping on the bandwagon of everybody.
Eddie's telling me he was wearing a number 2, which is his number
For the Ranger game.
No, this is at the Met game.
Oh, it was for the Met game. It was number 2.
The Wilson on the back was his number, which is also a very odd thing to do. To show up at a game with your own, like the Devils were very nice enough to send us jerseys a number of years back. I have a Devils jersey that says Dukes.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wear that to a Devils game. It's bizarre.
Why wouldn't you wear it?
Because it's strange. Like Zach Wilson, maybe the Mets gave Zach Wilson that shirt when he got there.
They did. They use the teams all. If they have a celebrity guest, they give him the jersey.
Like you don't think he went to he went on and got his own jersey.
No.
online. It was
well,
like,
when the Jets, when Zach Wilson and a whole bunch of the Jets came to an Islanders playoff game, they were all there with Islander jerseys on in their respective numbers. And then Islander players went to a Jet game during the season, and they were in a suite, and they were all wearing Jet jerseys with their respective Islander numbers.
That makes sense.
If someone sent me a jersey, I would wear it.
You would?
Yeah. Well, the Red Bull sent me a jersey last week, but I can't wear it because I have to lose a few more pounds.
Well, it's weird. Like the Nets sent us jerseys, but they sent like the actual player jerseys. And I'm a slim fella.
Yeah,
I can't wear that thing. Like it is tight. These NBA jerseys are tight.
Yes. Well, it's tough to wear. It's like an undershirt. You have to wear like a t-shirt underneath it.
Right. Go Patrick Ewing style at Georgetown.
Well, I forget about Patrick Ewing. I don't want to walk around with my armpits sticking out.
Right. That's
that would
true.
Kind of be not a good scene.
Right. Hairy armpits sticking out in the summer. Yeah, so I forgot about Zach Wilson going to the Islanders game. That's funny. So he went to Islanders games, Rangers games in the playoffs, Mets games now that they're on a run.
I could only imagine when he'll show up at a Yankee game.
Once they get back here to, are they back here?
They have to come back for a mini camp. This is off season. These are OTAs they're in right now. So they'll come back for a mini camp, and maybe if they get some downtime, they'll come to a Yankee game.
I was going to say White Sox at Yankees starting tonight. If he's still in town, the Yankees are on. They lost yesterday, but.
And he should go to the game if he doesn't have Amazon Prime, because that'd be the only way of watching it.
Oh, it's another one of those gimmicks tonight?
I think it's an Amazon Prime game tonight.
Yeah, that still upsets people.
Yeah, I don't have it.
You don't have Amazon Prime?
No.
So you miss a game.
It's all right. Do something with the family tonight.
Right. It's one game. You
watch the replay on Yes at 11 o'clock.
Oh, is that what they do?
They do. Yeah. Well, it's like when the games were on free TV, if they were on Channel 11, Yes had the post-game show, and they replay the game.
Oh, there you go.
Let's watch it later.
And the Amazon broadcast, they use the Yes.
It's the Yes broadcast, yeah.
It's not that terrible Apple Plus situation.
I've seen pieces of one game. I think the first one was a Mets game.
It was a Mets game.
Yeah.
People do not care for that broadcast team.
No, that was a tough watch.
Yeah, tough watch. Let's take a break here, Peter. When we come back, we'll do a little Yankees. Let me see what else I have here on the list. You'll give us I know nothing about hockey. You'll give us a little preview of Rangers Hurricanes
Sounds
game
good.
1. And then I got a couple football things. What else do I have? I'm scrolling here. I got some Tiger Woods information, a lot of stuff. And then you'll be familiar with Boomer and Gio. They come here at 6 a.m.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, they're
familiar
terrific.
with their work.
Very terrific.